Hello and welcome. This is NTA Tuesday Live and I'm Cyril Stober. Now, the federal government since 2016 has continued to evolve different empowerment schemes under the social investment and social safety net programs to meaningfully engage the increasing number of graduates of tertiary institutions and unskilled youths as part of a strategy to grow the economy, boost personal incomes, and enhance revenue for the country. Now, the latest program in the kitty of the federal government is the Nigerian Jubilee Fellows Program, a youth empowerment partnership initiative in collaboration with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, aimed at promoting local job opportunities and strengthening capacity of 20,000 talented youths in line with their expertise and in addition to equipping the participants with world-class practical knowledge and relevant skills to make them more employable. Now, this is to drive the program implementation, which was announced a week after the launch by President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, how long will the program run? Who is eligible to apply? What are the requirements needed? These are some of the questions we'll be asking tonight. But first, let's get to see this report by Musa Abubakar.
It's the end of one-year mandatory youth service for 29-year-old John Chukwuemeka. Like many graduates, he's looking for a job and hope to start something if he couldn't get one right away.
You can find anything be doing, at least it will be easy for you to make life a little bit easy before you.
Luckily for him and graduates alike, a meeting has just been reconvened at the Presidential Villa by the federal government in collaboration with United Nations Development Program, UNDP, to launch the Nigeria Jubilee Fellows Program.
I truly believe it is a beneficial program that will provide the candidates with the right opportunities to develop their careers and increase the talent pool of the nation.
The program seeks to connect graduates with local job opportunities while equipping them with practical knowledge and relevant skills to earn a living. This is set to curb the rising unemployment and COVID-19 pandemic impacting on the ability of young Nigerians to get jobs.
The Nigerian Jubilee Fellow Program, being a fully paid post-NYSC work placement program for Nigerians, will provide an opportunity for mentors who are already engaged in various industries and have gained relevant experience and build capacity over the years to provide mentorship and support for the young Nigerians that will be on the program.
About 20,000 graduates are set to be engaged annually with a year-long job placement opportunities in both private and public sectors nationwide.
I look forward to seeing this inspiring young talent of this country leverage this program to enhance their competency and contribute to the growth and development of Nigeria.
With a monthly stipend and on-the-job skills and experience, Chukwuemeka sees it as an opportunity that can help him realize his dreams.
All right, that report sets the tone for tonight's discussion. But let me start off by introducing our guests. I would like to welcome to this program Umar Binder, an engineer. He is the National Coordinator, National Social Investment Program. Dr. Binder, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
All right. Let me also welcome to this program Ife Adebayo, his Special Assistant to the President on Innovation. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. I'd also like to welcome to tonight's program Mr. Yowa Apera is National Coordinator, National Social Safety Nets Coordinating Office. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Cyril. Thank you for having me.
And also joining us from our Ibadan Network Center is Malam Abubakar Nuhu Fiku. He is the Director General, the National Directorate of Employment, NDE. Thanks for being with us here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Cyril. You're welcome.
Okay, so as usual, we acquaint you with the procedure of the program. It hasn't changed. It's interactive, and at the appropriate time, you can get to join the discussion in the studio. The numbers will be on your screens. We advise that you take advantage of those numbers and call in at the appropriate time. However, we always say this: when you do call in and your call gets through to the studio, do us a favor, turn down the volume of your TV set. That's the way to avoid the hurlback or echo. And once you're on, it would be good for you to just go straight to the point. Don't bother about the greetings, just go straight. You know, once you've been introduced, make your comments or ask your question, and do so as quickly as possible so that others can also have the opportunity to get on the platform too and air their views. So once again, thank you for joining us on NTA Tuesday Live. Tonight, it's all about job creation and the Jubilee Fellows program. So let's begin, because the first way to start off is to ask, what is this Nigeria Jubilee Fellows program that's supposed to help drive job creation? And for that, we'll turn to the Special Assistant to the President on Innovation, Ife Adebayo, to tell us about it.
The Nigeria Jubilee Fellows Program is an initiative of the federal government launched by President Muhammadu Buhari, and the applications opened on the 6th of September 2021. And it is a program focused on helping young graduates, recent graduates, to get relevant work experience while they are while they're earning some money. So what we're calling it is a earning while learning program. So it's two-pronged. One, you have the fellows, who are the graduates, who, if you graduated not earlier than 2017, so that's between 2017 and now, you finished your NYSC program. You've been trying to get a job, but employers are asking you for work experience. It's an opportunity for you to be placed and get work experience. And the second component is for organizations. So organizations who also require graduates to work with them can also apply on the program. So we're expecting applications from organizations and applications also from fellows who are recent graduates.
All right. Thank you very much. You know, that's a cursory look at what that program is all about. But again, we do know that the government has put a lot into social investment programs. And the first thing is to say, yes, we have the Jubilee program. How will this key in, or how will this run with the social investment programs? Dr. Binder, you here with us.
Well, yeah, thank you very much. I need to start from the background of the major problem in all developing countries. All developing countries are developing countries because poverty is high in those countries, and our country is one of those countries. And therefore, we have always tried to solve this poverty problem. And we do this since 1960 by launching what most can say expensive programs. You know, the DIFRIs, the MAMSAs, the FIPS, the NAPEPs, the SurePs, the PAP 2000s, and so on and so forth. But you see, you'll notice that every time that we launch these programs, we pump money to tackle poverty through addressing these unemployment issues and youth engagements and gainful employments and so on and so forth. But they always go up, operate for some time, and die off. And then this president creatively said, why do we keep doing this? And then he and his team came up with the difference. The difference is that he said, let us now create a structure that can survive our own period of administration and possibly survive for longer periods in terms of sustainability. And that is the genesis for creating the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. And under that ministry, the president said, put the social investment program under that as the package of interventions, you know. So that ministry is not really Ministry of Water Resources, but it's doing water. It's not Ministry of Labor, it's doing employment. It's not Ministry of Industry, but it's doing enterprise and entrepreneurship and so on and so forth. But then the NSIP is a package, it's a bouquet of activities that is supposed to shock treat the system on the basis of big gaping holes of youth and engagement, so that by the time you fill it up to the level that the institutions established by government can manage, then you withdraw that aspect of intervention. So social investment program, seriously is targeted at whether you are talking of Empower, engaging graduates and non-graduates and building their capacity, their capability, their skills, so that they can be able to engage themselves. If you are talking of National Homegrown School Feeding Program, it's about mopping up very young children, ensuring that our enrollment goes high to tackle the 12 to 13 million children on the streets that are out of school, so that we can be able to engage the community to power production, to power cooking the food and feeding the children, all with a view to employing people. Or whether you're talking of the GEEP, the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, so that you can give a microcredit for the first time in the country that has no collateral or no interest rate attached to them, so that young people can be able to access resources. And then I'm sure Apera will talk about the conditional cash transfer. So the bouquet is literally to shock treat this innovatively.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go over to your Apera. And you are, by your position, the custodian, if I might use that word, of the database of all beneficiaries through this National Social Register. So take us through the numbers we're looking at here, those who've been captured and those who are beneficiaries here.
Very much, Cyril. You're right. The National Social Register, it's a register of poor and vulnerable Nigerians identified through a community-based targeting system, meaning they are actually identified by their community members within the context of the understanding of that community of what is their poverty. Now, in the social register at the moment, we have up to 40 million individuals, but we take it from the point of view of the household, so you have 8.9 million households in the social register. If you look at the numbers, it's a bit scary in the sense that from the point of view of those who are poor, over 47% are unemployed. Now, these 47 unemployed are not engaged in agriculture. A good number of these poor people identify with social register in our rural areas. So you ask the question, in our rural areas, you're unemployed, you're not engaged in agriculture. What then is the challenge and what then is the issue? When you begin to then disaggregate the numbers in terms of education, you also see that 69% of the 40 million individuals in the social register are not educated. They've not been to the four rooms of a classroom, not even primary school. But again, when you look at the numbers, you see that close to about 48% are youth. People between ages of 15 and 35. And so you have a huge youth bulge and youth problem here. And of that number, majority are the ones that are uneducated, majority are ones that are without formal education, uneducated, but those are without jobs. And so the federal government, like Dr. Bindil said, have been, in the course of over the years, trying its hands on so many initiatives aimed at reducing this huge challenge. Some of which have been mentioned, but particularly one from the current program that is launched. You also see the efforts of government in Empower. But picking to the social register, we did what we called the Skills for Job through the Youth Employment and Social Support Operations, wherein 24,000 youths. So the numbers are actually perhaps more than the 20,000 we're looking at under this program. But 24,000 youths were mined from the poor and vulnerable register and were trained in vocational skills, because majority, of course, they are uneducated, and they were given starter packs to start their businesses in the country. So, from the point of view of the numbers are not looking very good for us. But then that is what, like, according to Dr. Bindil, informed government's efforts. And what is different this time is that for a very first time in our country, there is a huge investment in tackling not only the poverty question, but the associated issues around poverty. And we know poverty is multidimensional. So you look at poverty in terms of smoothing consumption in cash transfer, but you also look at poverty in terms of providing access to education, access to health services, access to jobs. And so the question now is to access to jobs. And government has created, and I'm glad we have the NDE director. We have had that program for a while. Government has the Empower now that's given about 1 million youths opportunities for job experiences, and now the next program for the 20,000. So when you pull this together, so let's say Empower is 1 million, let's say the current program is 20,000, that's 1.2 million, or 1,020,000, sorry, 1,020,000. I'm supposed to be the maths man, yes, Cyril. So I apologize. 1,120,000. But you have 47% of 40 million unemployed and uneducated. What can we do about it?
All right. We'll explore how this will work out given the numbers. But let's take the discussion to the Director General of the NDE, who's in Ibadan Network Center, Malam Abubakar Nuhu Fipu. And here, let's find out just the kind of training which you provide to the scores, the hordes of young people, so as to meet the needs of the Nigerian society at this time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cyril. The NDE has a spectrum of training that cuts across all segments, all sectors of the economy, in order to attract the interest of unemployed Nigerians, young and old, graduates, non-graduates, school dropouts, and even those who have not been privileged to be in school. When we talk about the Graduate Jubilee project, for us in the NDE, it's not entirely new. That is what we refer to as Graduate Attachment Program, or if you like, Graduate Internship Program, which is a program that provides transient or temporary employment for unemployed graduates. This caters for graduates alone, those who have been to school from diploma up to degree level. This is a program that specifically takes care of them. And as for the other sectors, we believe that we have an agricultural sector. We also have a business, trade and investment sector. We also believe that we have technical and vocational sections. And so the NDE tries as much as possible to design programs and schemes that will cut across this and then carry the interest of the unemployed Nigerians. Graduate unemployment became recognized in the late 80s. For those who have been to school decades ago, will remember that even while you were in school, during your final exams, government will come providing recruitment exercises. The private sector will be there trying to interview and recruit you. People will be around shopping for graduates even before they graduate for employment. Now, as the time went on, towards the end of the 80s, federal government realized that graduate unemployment has started creeping in. And that was why attention now began to turn towards graduate unemployment. But that is not to say that government was totally ignorant of what to do about it. Just as there was a problem, government also started designing intervention, programs and projects in order to address those issues. For instance, prior to that time, there was no NDE, there was no NALDA, there was no SMEDAN, there was no ITF. All these things were not there because the problem of unemployment did not begin to manifest at that time. So, but now that we have these issues, and it is a global issue, so all attention by all governments now focuses on the provision of programs and schemes, developing strategies and synergy to address the problems of unemployment nationally and globally, which is why even though the NDE has been established over 3 decades ago as the sole and apex agency to combat unemployment, we don't see ourselves as having the monopoly of knowledge, of the financial know-how to address unemployment problems. We believe that it's a collective thing. We need to be complementary. Yes, the NDE has the technical know-how. The NDE has the structures in all states of the Federation, but the NDE may not have adequate funding to do that. That is not to say that those other agencies and ministries who have the resources to do this cannot partner with NDE, and that is the synergy we are talking about. That we have one government, we have the same objectives, we have the same goals. Therefore, we must develop a synergy in order to achieve the government goals and objectives, no matter how.
And that's where next we're going to, if we return to Ife Adebayo and say, well, your office, in collaboration with the Undp and the EU, put this together. Now, we also know, especially as we've listened to the other discussants here, that government has, set up numerous interventionist programs and projects still to attack this monster of unemployment. The question here now is, how do you coordinate and streamline all this so that they're all contributing, like the DGND said, to achieving the government's goal and not have that many voices singing different tunes from different stalls?
Thank you very much for that. So when you look at the way the government of President Buhari has engaged since 2015, it has been very, there's always been a sort of a whole of government approach. So for example, you had when we were in recession, you had the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan that brought all these different components together under one umbrella. And then we had the Economic Sustainability Plan after the COVID-19 pandemic hit the economy. And now, just a few weeks ago, the president inaugurated the Steering Committee on Poverty Alleviation. So what you find is that, like others have mentioned, while all these programs are working, there is still an whole-of-government approach and whole-of-government coordination which comes directly from the president himself. And he has his ways of ensuring that he pulls all these things together, different people working. So when you look at the Jubilee Fellows program, for example, the Ministry of Trade and Investment as the anchor ministry, who works directly with private sector, looking at investment, looking at industrialization, and which was very critical to engaging the private sector to know what exactly are the issues that they are facing with the recruitment of these recent graduates. These conversations and engagements now led to setting the criteria for getting people on board these programs, and also looking at running it for an initial period of 5 years as a sort of a proof of concept, where we're able to weigh the results, do impact assessments, monitoring and evaluation, and then tweak the program as it goes forward. But everything still under the President's directive, everybody working to achieve the same goal of Mr. President, which is to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty over 10 years.
How has all of these impacted on this huge numbers of the poor, the unemployed, and well, this is one question I ask all the time. If you were to choose between alleviating poverty and eradicating poverty, which will it be?
Well, I think Nigeria is a very powerful country. It's a very strong country. I will go for eradicating absolute poverty. So I put the word absolute in it.
All right.
Absolute poverty on the platform of the multidimensionality of poverty. I'm sure, Cyril, you will start asking questions. Why should there be one single child in this country that cannot go to primary school? There is no reason. We should be able to cope with that. There shouldn't be a reason why every single Nigerian cannot have access to potable water. There shouldn't be any reason why a Nigerian woman, rural or urban, cannot go to a primary healthcare facility, deliver her child, eliminating maternal and infant mortality totally, and so on and so forth. So these are the elements of the eradication of poverty. And you can see, just like the special assistant said, the zeal, the creativity, the commitment of the president and his team to say that we're going to throw all the stones that we can get at this poverty problem. Many ministries, Ministry of Labor is doing the 1,000 works employment solution per local government over a period of time. You have the Ministry of Water doing other packages, and the NDE certainly is as a main implementing agency of federal government in this. So the numbers are high, like Apera said, and coordination, cooperation, and partnership is required, like the DG of NDE said, and that is actually the secret at combating this. And I believe that poverty, absolute poverty, can be eradicated in our great country.
So where comes this feeling that, yes, all this is going on, yet it would seem that it's hardly made a dent in the figures. Should we call for more? And this is the thing, because they say, well, yes, all these programs are on. But again, every day you hear things about households saying, look, 5, 6 members of a household remain without jobs, remain without being gainfully employed, and this is all over the place. So you wonder, has there really been an impact, appreciable, if I might say, in all of this?
There has been an impact. It will be wrong, actually, to say there is no impact. But you will see that the population is growing every day. In the 80s, Nigeria's population was about 30 million, 40 million, 50 million. Now we're 200 million and we're counting, and every day a child is born. Every day a child drops out of school. Every day a child graduates from school, whether secondary, diploma, HND, or whatever it is. And it's global, it's not only in Nigeria. It's a global problem. As population increase, resources are always scarce, as we were told in Economics 101. Resources are always scarce, and so you cannot readily distribute to everyone. So it is not where you say, okay, we drill oil $1 billion, then give every Nigerian $10. Maybe it's possible, but you would see from the development point of view that that's not very possible. So what do you then do? You begin to be strategic. And by being strategic is what this administration is doing. Coming up of evidence, using evidence and data to drive our human capital development. And therefore, using also that to then formulate strategies. So if you have read through the poverty and growth strategy of the federal government, it has two basic strands of work. One is on social protection that looks at social safety nets and answers the poverty question through the eyes of the poor and vulnerable from the social regional point of view. The other is unlocking the potentials in our economy and the opportunities thereof, creating jobs, creating business opportunities. You see the ease of doing business. The last time Mr. Vice President launched the online registration of businesses meant to ease of registration of business. With the problem we have, there's no shoe that fits it all, no size that fits it all. It has to be attacked in various ways. You could have only a single question of unemployment. You can create jobs by creating a lot of companies. But will that in any way reduce the numbers? It will make an impact. But remember, as you're building a company, before you complete the company in 5 years, there are 100 million people born that are ready to fill the positions that are only 10 in that company. So you begin to look at it from the point of view of other initiatives that will support. So the graduate scheme, brilliant, giving experience to graduates to help them move on with life. You have the small startup businesses where we train people and then they get to start their business. And we have a lot of success stories around those areas as well. We have loads of success stories from the Empower scheme wherein over 177 out of the 500 that were in Empower are now employers of people. You have success stories like the ND of ND would tell you around those who have graduated from the NDA scheme and they are now employers of people or they are earning a good living. Now, Siri, when you ask that question, I'll throw it back at you that it would have been worse if we didn't have these efforts. It would have actually been worse. So the 20,000 that are taken out through the graduate scheme, that's just 20,000 out of 100 million. Now, the NLSS figure put those living below the poverty line in Nigeria at 80 million individuals. Now, with the pandemic and the challenges of it, it threw 7 million more below the poverty line. So you're looking at between 80 to 89 million individuals in Nigeria below the poverty line. But these are those who are actually absolutely below the poverty line. You have the transient poor, those who have seasonal incomes that could drop into this poverty line just by simply flash flood or insurgents or anything like that. And every single day this thing is happening. So as you try to tackle this problem, and I will tell you again, this is by far the most ambitious investment into the poverty question in this country by any administration that we had in our history. When you look at it, for over 5 years of this administration, 500 billion naira budgeted only for social investment programs across the time. If you look at the economic sustainability plan and the budget thereof, humongous amount of money supporting to unlock or revive our economy after the closure of the pandemic. You look at the poverty and growth strategy in itself, streamlining efforts of government towards tackling this problem. Yes, a lot has happened. Yes, a lot is being done. A lot of progress has been made. A lot of impact has been felt. But our population keep growing every day. To tackle the problem, it has to be multidimensional, that, like Dr. Bindil said.
Yeah, speaking of that, really, just as Appiah has mentioned about what could happen, let me bring this to the DGNDE. Yeah, the pandemic, it was not anything envisaged. And of course, it disrupted so many things. How did that impact on your activities? And as some people would say too, has it also now thrown up the need to be forward-looking and maybe tinker once again with the way you carry out these activities? As they say, our lives have changed forever. It will never be the same.
Thank you, Cyril. Let me start with the question of impact. For me and for the NDE, yes, government interventions, government strategies have really been impactful. Let us not forget that the question of joblessness, the question of unemployment did not begin now. It started as a result of several years of government policies and programs aimed at, creating an enabling environment for the private sector to strive, and also attempting to improve the economy at that time. Needless to mention SEPT and other things. Don't forget too, there was this issue of over 2 or 3 decades of embargo on employment in Nigeria. All this became accumulated graduates, school leavers, and that is the impact we are feeling today. Governments, in its own magnanimity, especially the present government, saw the need and so opened up all avenues to all MDAs, to try and create jobs in one way or the other. And in so doing, during the pandemic or just before it, introduced what the NDE had already pilot tested, the Special Public Works Program, now named the Extended, because of the result we have had, because of the success we have recorded in the pilot. It now became the Extended Special Public Works Program, which Mr. President, in his magnanimity, said, no, don't just stop at this, but extend this program to each and every local government of this country. For God's sake, if you take just 100,000 to a settlement and distribute, you'll be surprised at the impact. What more of taking millions in one local government, recruiting 1,000 unemployed people, getting, apart from making them financially inclusive, you have introduced them. You have, brought to their knowledge that within their environment, they can look around, that within their environment, they can generate an activity that will serve as an income-generating activity for them. And Cyril, you think this is not impactful? This is quite impactful. We need to appreciate what government is doing. We need to conscientize people. We need to have people to have a change of attitude. We need to have people to be able to, accept the goodwill of government. During the extended special public works program, people were also grouped as work gangs. Now, this is to encourage them, you know, in the aspect of communal work, that together you can make it, that together you can, you can work together for the benefit of the community and for the benefit of yourself. That also was a way of inculcating into Nigerians that spirit of maintenance-ship, that spirit of ownership, that infrastructure provided by government is meant to be owned by the community. It can be maintained by the community for sustainability purposes. So I think with this said, I believe that what government has been doing is very impactful. And we're coming to this pandemic. Yes, it's true. A number of people, have been suspended from doing their activities. The ordinary Mekose, that is the Akara woman. The ordinary Mama Put, the local restaurant, was closed, and all this. So I think what the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs is doing, in addition to what the NDA is doing, is quite relevant. You are telling people that government knows that the impact of this, has stopped you from producing, from giving service in order to earn a decent living. Therefore, this is some support for you to take off. This is some support for you to continue. This is meant, to establish some kind of sustainability and give confidence in the people that the government, really cares and knows that people exist. So I think these things are very, very impactful, and it gives us an opportunity to even talk to people, to conscientize them on the need for them to be able to explore their environment, because nobody knows what could happen tomorrow.
Now is the time to go down to break it down, the Jubilee program, and we'll go to Ife Adebayo to break it down. How do this 20,000 young, talented, skilled graduates key into this program? What is the selection process? Let's say, they're graduate A, is watching this program now and is excited that this is going to be something that will help remove 20,000 out of this labor market. So let's take it from that and break it down to how the whole process will be driven.
This is the application portal is open, www.njfp.ng. So NJFP comes from Nigeria Jubilee Fellows Program. So njfp.ng. So if you're a graduate, you've graduated between 2017 and this year, you've concluded NYSC, you're below 30 years of age, you go to the portal and you make your application. If you're an organization anywhere across the country that is also interested in the services of graduates, you go onto the portal and you make your application. The graduates will be matched to organizations based on their skills and on the requirements of the organization. The organization will do their due diligence, and then they will decide if they want to match with a particular graduate. When a graduate is matched with an organization, the graduate is inducted and onboarded onto the program, after which the graduate is expected to be on the program for the period of 12 months. However, the role of the private sector organizations also goes beyond just being host organizations. So we've had engagements through the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment with some of the private sector entities who having conversations around being knowledge partners, around being learning partners, around being mentors. For example, there are some organizations who have told us we're willing to give our staff days off in the year to be mentors on this program. So if you're a fellow on this program, beyond the work experience, you're also going to be going through a learning experience. You're going to be going through a mentorship experience. You're going to be going through, you're going to be part of a community that we are hoping to keep together as sort of alumni of the program going forward. So beyond the experience, there's also a lot of other things that will be coming on board on this program. And also for the organizations, it's a learning process for them. A lot of organizations who insist, for example, on 5 years experience, 4 years experience. Now the government is giving you fresh graduates with little or no experience within your organization. It's a learning process for you to see how much these young Nigerians can take on, to see how much responsibility you can give to them, and to see if this even affects your own hiring process, if it affects your own recruitment process, your onboarding process, your training process, as you bring in graduates into the workplace. So we see this as the potential to basically engage the private sector in a way that they've not been engaged before, just directly engaging them and changing the whole narrative around recruitment.
Let me stay with you for a while longer and just say the specific commitments coming from the UNDP and the EU.
So the UNDP, like you know, is a United Nations Development Program. And they have long years of experience running development programs globally. So they're coming on board with a lot of that experience, with a lot of that know-how. They're also coming on board with the convening power to be able to pull in the development partner community to support the program going forward. Also their convening power and the conversations between the government and the UNDP also led to the EU coming on board the program, because one of the key aspects of the program that we've been looking at is sustainability. How do we ensure that this is a program that is sustainable in the long term? So if we're getting funding support from development partners at the moment, with some federal government funding also going into the program, beyond the period of 5 years, how do we take this program forward? And I think the experience of an organization like the United Nations Development Program in building the right structures, the right sustainability models, the right foundations on this sort of program of this scale is really going to come to bear. We've also been able to lean on the UNDP structures also for the design of the program, designing how the program will run, designing what the various elements of the program will be, building the digital end-to-end solution for the program that looks at the pre-recruitment process, the recruitment process, the onboarding process, the learning process, the alumni process, the mentorship, the knowledge and learning plan of the program, the standard operating procedures, engagement with the private sector, and service level agreements with the private sector on the program. The huge experience and longevity of the UNDP in engaging in programs like this have been really critical and have been very helpful for us.
Right, job creation programs. We've got a number of reports. Let's take the very first one. This is coming from Lagos.
Lagos, they say, is a land of limitless opportunities despite being the commercial hub of Nigeria. It has an unemployment rate put at 37%, with a significant number of these being youths. This is why, for many young Lagosians, the Nigeria Jubilee Fellow Program created by the federal government to tackle unemployment is a scenario of preparedness meeting opportunity. 27-year-old Francis Okon is a petrochemical engineer who just concluded his compulsory National Youth Service Corps months ago. He immediately started a laundry business, but hopes the program will provide a platform to pursue a career in oil and gas sector.
I believe since the program will train individuals and place individuals in their area of specialization, and that would be very interesting, because I would not want to go and study let's say chemical engineering and I'm doing something else.
Others like Awak David Etido, who obtained a first class in chemical engineering from a university in Istanbul, Turkey, with an interest in renewable energy, says he will leverage on the opportunity provided by the program.
Through this program, there's a lot to achieve, because this will actually drag not just about tackling unemployment, but also making sure that youth like me we are all skilled in different aspects, not just waiting. Because I heard it's not what you don't wait for the government. What can you do for your government?
This category of young school leavers who are near completion of their national service promise to maximize the advantage the Nigeria Jubilee program brings to the table, which includes the chance to meet their dream employers.
The program itself offers myself and every youth out there the opportunity to connect with organizations, companies, mentors, and corporate bodies to build a career, to understand the dynamics of the industries we intend to work in.
Like me, I've chosen digital marketing field as a field where I want to pursue, and I would love to meet professional expertise that will help me to gain and reach that desired goal that I've planned for myself.
Over 20,000 youths are expected to benefit from the initiative that will empower them with the capabilities that will make them attractive to employers, as well as the capacity to be potential entrepreneurs.
Let's see how the story plays out in Kano.
Each year, universities and schools of higher learning in Kano alone produce thousands of graduates that join the National Youth Service Corps and upon completion end up in the labor market, which is highly competitive. The giant stride by the federal government in collaboration with the United Nations Development Program (UNDP), tagged Nigeria Jubilee Fellowship Program, seeks to create opportunities for the Nigerian graduates to be self-sufficient. Over the years, a number of voluntary organizations and NGOs have come up with initiatives to help groom youths in various skills acquisition. One of such is the Sani Abacha Ultra-Modern Youth Center, established in 1986 in Kano, and has in this period trained more than 50,000 youths in the north.
We have been into youth empowerment because our motto is guidance towards self-reliance. And what I've been doing here is providing skills, vocational skills to our young teams, just to implement government effort.
Like the Sani Abacha Youth Center, Jubilee Fellow Program will equip Nigerian graduates with practical knowledge and relevant skills.
Young Nigerians have produced some of the most outstanding cross-sectoral innovations. They have proven that they're incredibly talented asset to this country.
Some graduates are optimistic that the program will bring a positive change to their lives.
This initiative will change my life because it will open doors and opportunities for me that most people do not have.
The fellowship program is an opportunity for me to acquire practical skills, and it will bridge the gap of unemployment in Nigeria.
Nura Sani Yahaya, an economist with Kano College of Education and Preliminary Studies, says this will reduce the number of unemployed graduates and pave way to harness their hidden potentials.
The program will help to give youth a good package of salary to give them experience based on new modern practice, and eventually it will help to expand the economic growth and development in the country.
With a targeted number of 20,000, the initiative will provide the opportunity to empower and engage the youths to be able to contribute in the expansion of the country's economy.
From Lagos to Kano, chemical engineering graduates, how does all of this make you feel?
Well, as an engineer myself, you tend to sometimes, get jitters when you see engineering students or graduates of engineering. Not that it's bad, but I mean, there are engineering things to do, but they do non-engineering things. You see, the beauty about poverty is that it presents the opportunities you have. If you have 80 million people without nice houses, who cannot sleep and dream and wake up in the morning to stretch and then get on with it, it means opportunities for designing, building, and providing houses are there. If you have something like 70 to 80 million people who cannot eat good food, you know, starter, main meal, and finisher, or sweet or whatever, that is the standard of fantastic life. And you are in a country, great country like Nigeria, it presents opportunities and, you know, to people who can look and see. So, to me, engineers, when you see young engineers like this, at the very beginning of their livelihoods, not that is bad, but I would task even the vice chancellors of the universities, the rectors of polytechnics, the provost of colleges of education, to ensure that if you have a university with a faculty of engineering, faculty of agriculture, you know, and so on and so forth, why should your university look very dry and dejected and everything? It shouldn't be acceptable. You must make sure that your university is green and it is nice with flowers. So that is the environment that energizes students to understand that I have been within the four walls of universities with this knowledge capital bubbling all over the place. And when I get out, I know exactly how to apply drip irrigation to green our stuff. We're maintaining our tracks and, you know, putting interlocers on our paths and so on and so forth. So institutionally, yes, institutions like NSIP, the ministries, NDE, SMEDAN, and so on and so forth are actions. But I can tell you, these are direct and visible institutions to address this. But there should be invisible institutions, meaning every leader has to take this, in my opinion, so that when you have every university, in my opinion, for example, should have a very, very big commercial farm. Even in Maiduguri, whether it is dry, demonstrate that dryness is not a challenge. If you are in Lagos, demonstrate that having big space is not really a big deal. If you are in Port Harcourt, demonstrate that high humidity is not a big deal. Then the student, when they go through such a system, I can tell you, when you come out, you will see the opportunities in this country. Good initiatives, all these innovative things, but I think the SWOT that we should do on our system, what are the strengths that we have, and we filter them and we showcase them. The weaknesses that we see is that we're not energizing young people, and we can change it to a strength. The opportunities that are there is actually our poverty. That is showcasing the opportunities. Feed people where they cannot feed. Water people where they cannot water. Clothe people where they are not clothed. And then the threats is actually what we're seeing. Corruption, insecurity, and so these are threats. If you don't manage it very well, you then get the young people joining in and amplifying the threat. So this is how I see these developments, and I believe that, yes, in our country we can conquer it if really the synergy is beyond that just the formal institutions synergizing, but all of us believing in our country positively.
All right, it's a point for us to take a short break. There's still much more ahead on the Jubilee Fellows Program and job creation. We'll be back, and hopefully we'll get in some phone calls. Stay with us on NTA Tuesday Live. We'll be back.
For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus.
Started asking questions. Okay, how did you do that? Because they're harvesting okra to take home.
All right. It's NTA Tuesday Live. We're looking at job creation. In focus is the Jubilee Fellows Program. And we do expect that the phones will start ringing any moment from now. And so you can get to be part of this discussion in the studio. And just as we await those calls coming through, let's go back to Ife Adebayo. Speaking earlier, you talked about sustainability, and that is a big question that many would raise and say, look, we start off things and years down the line, we cannot sustain them. What have you put in place here to ensure that this program, a program such as this, is sustainable, and not just in the life of the administration that has started it, that it is something that will go on and on? That's one part of it. The second part of it, as it is with many government programs, it's seen as, oh, that's a government program. Who are the true owners of programs such as this?
Second part of your question very well around who are the true owners of this program, but I'll try and answer us more, in the best possible way I can. I think the president and the vice president in this administration are very conscious of the fact that sustainability is key for all programs. So that's why you will see that there's been a very strong institutional anchor. Strong institutional anchorage for every program that the government has engaged in. That is why, for example, we had the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs created to manage the programs on humanitarian affairs and disaster management across the country. On the Jubilee Fellows Program specifically, one of the key areas of sustainability that we looked at was we had to break it down into financial sustainability, knowledge sustainability, and institutional sustainability. So on institutional sustainability, for example, that's why the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment was very key to every step of the program. Because in this ministry, you have the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, which has a database of over 40 million small and medium enterprises that have the need for graduates to work within them. In this ministry, you also have the Industrial Training Fund, for example, that focuses on training specifically for industry, which is what the Jubilee Fellows Program is about. So it's anchoring this program within the ministry ensures institutional sustainability going forward. Also, when you look at financial sustainability, you'll have to look at the results that will be gotten over the next 5 years. You'll have to look at who in the private sector is interested. Like we already have private sector organizations offering to pay for fellows, for example. So if you're able to show the value of this program, how can you ensure that there's some form of financial sustainability from institutions? How can you ensure that somewhere within the government budgetary processes, there's some form of sustainability that continues to drive this program within the relevant government agencies and ministries? And I also mentioned knowledge sustainability, so the sustainability of the data, sustainability of the information, the learnings, the impact assessments, the monitoring and evaluation processes. All these are also being done by ensuring that the ministry is fully involved in the program. Everything that is on the program will be owned by the ministry. So irrespective of the government that is in Aso Rock, all this information is available, and this process will also continue. But also for that knowledge sustainability, that is how the partnerships on the program have been really important. That's why we have the Undp that will, of course, remain here irrespective of government. That is why you have the EU that will, of course, remain here engaging diplomatically irrespective of government. That is why you have strong private sector partnerships. When the Vice President met with the private sector in June, on this program, you had the President of General Electric speaking to support the program. You had the Vice President for West Africa for Visa speaking up and saying we're supporting this program, we're giving it everything we need. We had the representative of the founder of BUA, BUA, also coming on the program to give his full support for the program. Virtually, you had Alhaji Dangote of Dangote Industries himself, attending the program virtually, giving his full support for the program. So strong institutional support from the private sector is also one of the key anchors of this program for sustainability.
Okay, we've seen reports on this from Lagos and Kano. Let's now go to Port Harcourt.
Research indicates that a higher percentage of Nigerian youths, including graduates, are highly talented and skilled. The challenge has, however, been viable opportunities to harness and add value to the economy. This is why youths in Rivers State are commending the federal government for coming up with the Nigerian Jubilee Fellows program designed to help 20,000 graduates with post-COVID-19 job opportunities.
I will help in my little way to ensure that go about sensitization, to sensitize the youth on the usefulness of this program, the benefits of this program, and by that they'll buy into it.
I'd like to thank the federal government for this platform and urge them to do for other persons, not necessarily only graduates, but also undergraduates and those who didn't even go into the university, so as to decrease the crime rates in the country and as well increase Nigeria's productivity.
The program aims to equip graduates with practical knowledge and relevant skills for a 12-month period, thereby connecting them with local job opportunities in different sectors, including information and communications technology, financial services, trade, manufacturing, agriculture, and mining, amongst others. Beneficiaries must be fresh graduates from any discipline with at least a second-class lower and not more than 30 years of age. For young graduates like Tina Taria, who is already engaged in trade due to her skill she acquired in beads and headgears, the program comes handy as it would expose her to bigger opportunities.
With my craft, I'm able to earn a living and pay my bills. But the opportunities are not presenting themselves. That's why I think this initiative is a good one. So we look forward to benefiting from it.
With the application portal for the Nigerian Jubilee Fellows program already open and designed to run till October 20 this year, respondents call for more awareness campaign to get potential beneficiaries on board.
All right, that report from Port Harcourt. The next report is from Oka.
The federal government and Undp initiative is a timely intervention aimed at providing skilled graduates internship in world-class private and public establishments in the country based on the fellows' interests and those related to the organization. The program is targeting about 20,000 young Nigerians from the 36 states, including the Federal Capital Territory.
I think it's the best thing that can happen to this government so that our youths will be gainfully employed. Our youth can, there'll be little or no violence in our streets.
Expectedly, they will either be retained by their service providers, pursue already available entrepreneurial interests, or compete and access future employment based on their newly acquired skills and outstanding alumni network. For the teeming Anambra youths who were badly hit by COVID-19 post-lockdown challenges and unemployment, the NJFP will relieve them of pains of unemployment in an already strained economy. Youths who intend to access the program say the multiplying effect of the program is huge.
I studied biochemistry. Since this skill is about different aspects and sectors, I'm very sure the health sector is also affected. So me as a biochemist, it would be nice in increasing my laboratory skills and techniques in the lab. We're saying thank you for this great innovation, and we also pray that a lot of us take part in it.
The Nigeria Jubilee Fellow Program does not require job experience, offers unlimited opportunities without advanced credentials, and promises fair playground for all applicants.
All right, that report from Oka. And as we said, at this time, we'll begin to take in the calls as they come in. But just as we prepare to take the calls, okay, well, the calls are already in there. And I think the very first one is Umar. Hello, Umar, calling in from Birnin Kabi. Hello? Okay, well, while we still try to get through with Umar from Birnin Kebi, let's take on this issue with a para and say, well, from all the reports so far, the young people, the youth, this young graduates, they're excited about this initiative and they're raring to go. I'm looking at the situation that 20,000, well, that portal by now would be almost jammed.
Actually, I was telling my friend here that I pity him, but I see the hunger in our people and our youth. But also I see something that is beginning to change, and the positivity of our youth looking at government initiatives and government programs. Of all the interviews they are excited about the prospects of the program, welcoming the program. A clear deviation from when we approach government initiatives and opportunities with a lot of doubts and saying, oh, see, the politician will hijack it, oh, this will happen. But this shows this level of transparency initiated by the current administration is beginning to gain and build confidence in our people to look at government programs with that level of enthusiasm, with that level of hunger to be able to participate. And I say this because the government has been a bit deliberate. People will also say it's a bit ad hoc, that we're throwing everything in the works. No, it's never been like that. It's been very systematic. In 2015, when the government came into power, the president signed a white paper on single ID and said you harmonize all your database to the name, giving the name a unique identifier. Begin to have a clear traction of individuals and support that you have. Then it moves to formulating policies and strategies that speak to the overall development of this country. Now you have initiatives that are contributing towards this overall strategy in various MDAs and ministries. When you pull all of these efforts together, you begin to make a holistic impact on the overall prosperity question in this country. And so the youths are very, very right to be expectant of the results or the prospects of these programs. And I'm also excited too, the fact that companies also have opportunities to match graduate, but also those who have the expertise and the experiences of over 30 years, 40 years working in industries are able to mentor these graduates. It's a huge investment, it's a huge initiative, because then you begin to give experience a chance to mentor, which is what is not real. It is what is in our culture, in our home, because all of us are mentored by our parents. I know a lot of things because my father spent some time with me. However, I do not know anything at the workplace because I never had the opportunity to have a mentor that will spend some time with me in trying to build that level of confidence, that level of experience, because it's not only in the opportunity, it's in the ability to build the belief in our youth.
Let's try and get back to the phones now and see if we can get this call through from Kaduna. Buba calling in from Kaduna. Are you there? Hello.
Are you there? Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Right.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Buba Umariaza from Kaduna. Now, you people are talking the talk, but not walking the talk. Now, if you talk or praise Ministry of Humanitarian, here to us, we the grassroots, we take it as Ministry of IDBs. If you look at how the ministry has been tilted towards looking into IDBs, what of SMEs and they are dying in silence. Now I have registered an company, and I have ventured into production of sunflower and bean seed. Now I have registered it for the past 2 years. Now that 2 years, up to now, because I have sometimes know the impact of what commercial banks can play, because they are still operating at colonial level, that their interest rates are high. With the coming of NIRSAL and other things, we expect we move a paradigm shift to that, so that we can access that loan to expand our SMEs. Well, as I'm telling you right now, what I'm telling you now, since 2018, I'm supposed to be paying tax by now. But now, as I'm talking to you, I applied for this loan. In fact, no history. It's as if they have taken our demography. They forget about, in fact, if it were in America, if we apply these things, it's something that they are desperate to. I mean, it would just take a couple of minutes to look into these things and these things. In fact, I have been a farmer of maize. I converted to this thing, and I have market in China. I have market in China. In fact, I wanted to create an awareness over this kind of these things. So what you people are saying is just what have been theoretically written. It's not the practical what is have been translated. Give us this loan, SMEs and these things, facilitate the ways we access these things, and let us see. Oh. So it's not about Jubilee or whatsoever it may be. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much. And, well, this is one issue that, a program like this will throw up. I see that while the caller was speaking, many were taking notes here. Well, we don't have Smedan right here now, but I am sure you're competent to talk on this.
Madam Buba from Kaduna, I quite understand your frustration that you have applied for loan and then you have not gotten it yet over a period of time. But I think you mentioned NIRSAL. NIRSAL is a World Bank initiative. It's a company under the World Bank, and I think they're doing very, very well in the sense that the kind of swarm over the applications to get the loans, I think, I'm not talking for them, but I think they're overwhelmed with that, and possibly, hopefully, we'll get it soon. But you are associating it with the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, Social Development? No. NIRSAL is not under the ministry. What is under the ministry relevant to this discussion is actually the National Social Investment Program and the Social Safety Net Project that APERA is talking on. And these projects are implemented, just like most people say, very transparently, in the sense that registration of young people, cleaning up, onboarding them, and everything is digitally made, so that you don't have to know somebody before you can benefit. Some people initially, including myself, I thought, oh, if you do portals and internet connectivity and so on and so forth, many Nigerians will not benefit. But I was amazed on the penetration of the digital space in our country. You go to Tongo in the very rural Adamawa state, they are there, they are registering to benefit in Empower. You go to Yako in Cross River, they are registering. It's amazing. And these, many beneficiaries are coming on board, and I think you should exercise patience. Okay. And I'm sure the MD of NIRSAL have heard you. Possibly he'll remember your name as Buba Kaduna from Kaduna and many others, and be able to hasten their processes to make you benefit.
Okay. There's another call coming through from Calabar. George, I think. George calling in from Calabar. Hello. Yes, George, go right ahead. You're through.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, George.
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
Yes, go right ahead, you're on. Okay, well, again, let's just restate that once you call through, your calls pass to the studio, of course, you see your name appear on screen, or you'd be so advised that your call has been passed through to the studio, so just go right ahead. Thank you. So I just keep the calls coming through, but again, the last caller we had raised some other issues. Okay, now is Umar from Birnin Kebi back on the line? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Right, is the caller back on the line? Yes, Umar from Birnin Kebi is a regular caller on this program, so he
Yes,
doesn't
I'm
have
Umar from
challenges.
Birnin KB.
Yes, he doesn't have issues calling in.
Thank
Go
you,
right ahead,
Siro, for
Umar.
giving me opportunity. Yes. You see, there are intervention programs by federal government. It's a good idea. But the official there need to be sincere. Sincere in the sense that all intervention programs, they need to be one line. It can be a social intervention program. One there is issue. There should be a sincerity of purpose. Let me tell you what I mean. For this social intervention program, I key in my name and under NDE. Then the NASAL program, they said they don't want NDE certificate. They introduced what they call EDI, Entrepreneurship Development Institute. We key in again, and up to today, up to now that I'm talking to you, over 2 years now, the program did not even issue us any penny right now. And what they did is that they said they have reduced the money that we apply from 10 million naira, they reduced it to 3 million. I mean, all those kind of frustration.
Oh yeah, we lost that call from Umar from Birnin Kebi, but I guess he's already made 1 or 2 points there, which I guess we'll comment on. He started off talking about keying into the ND program. Well, the DG ND is part of this discussion, so let's go back to him in our Ibano Network Center.
Yes, Umar mentioned the fact that he went through the NDE program and wanted to use the certificate to access another facility somewhere, which he has not been able to. I think this is what we have mentioned earlier. We talked about synergy, that there needs to be synergy. One government agency should be able to recognize whatever the other agency has done so that, you know, they can either absorb for continuity and sustainability or advise as may be appropriate. As for the loan he has applied, it's normal that even though you have written a feasibility report, you have tendered it to a loan granting organization, it is up to that organization to appraise whatever you have written and then approve and begin the process of granting you the loan based on what appraisal you know, they must have done. And in terms of sustainability, the NDE, for instance, we have skills. We believe that if somebody is empowered with skills, that skills remains with him for life. We provide skills training in vocational and technical areas. We provide skills training in agricultural areas. We provide entrepreneurial, you know, skills for people wanting to go into, businesses, and also go ahead to give them social skills for them to be able to interact and then maintain whatever they are doing. That is the more reason why we have developed an exit strategy for the Special Public Works Program, popularly known as the 774,000 jobs, in order to ensure that these people, with the skills they have learned, with the conscientization we have made for them, they will be able to sustain, or invest whatever little they have gotten, or seek for funds in order to continue whatever activities they have realized that is income generating. Till date, the NDE has at the moment over 200 skills acquisition centers. Some were constructed by the NDE and some were donated and handed over to the NDE by other agents and philanthropists. At the moment, we are even in talk. We want to key into the Great Green Wall. They have a skills center and we are in talks, all in the name of, maintaining sustainability. I am in Ibadan now because I have met with His Excellency, the Governor of Osun State, all in, with the aim of, making it, building the relationship that we already have, which they too have also offered to give us a skills center, which I have gone to visit. And tomorrow, we shall also sign another memorandum of understanding with the Oyo State government, all in the name of ensuring that youth, graduates or non-graduates, including people living with disabilities, are taken care of by the government of the day, which is, why I am in Ibadan and attending to this program. So we believe that, that synergy is very necessary, is key. I remember that there was a panel that was set up by a previous government. We call it the Amijoda panel. That panel tried as much as possible to harmonize all poverty eradication agencies, all skills acquisition agencies, and so, merge some, and then specifically made sure that each one has a role to play, so that whatever we do can now come together for the purpose of, our development and providing jobs for our people and increasing the wealth of the nation. So I believe that synergy is key in whatever we are doing. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, fine, it has the resources, it has the financial, the financial capacity. The essay to Mr. President can also, come in and then key into what the NDE is doing. Whatever beneficiaries that must have gone through them can be moved over to the NDE. We have different, skills acquisition programs.
DG, okay, thanks. We'll return to you, but let's quickly get back to the phones now. And we have Ihai Chuku from Port Harcourt. If you're still on the line, go ahead. No, I think that call's dropped. Right. At this point, we'll bring in Ife Adebayo once again. The portal is open. Given the numbers out there, 20,000, how are you going to bring those numbers down to 20,000?
Application is currently open. Application closes on the 20th of October. After the applications have closed, there will be a selection process which will look at those who meet the relevant criteria: 30 years of age, graduation year of not earlier than 2017, minimum degree level of a 2-2.
Ife Adebayo, sorry to cut in here. The application, it will close and then you'll begin the process of selection. But you see, what most people will be worried about here, or will be concerned about, is it's expected that for 20,000 openings, you'd have more like 200,000. And so there's going to be some worry about how competitive the selection process is and the criteria that you're going to use to select this 20,000 from, oh, God knows how many.
For every applicant, they will have to go through a series of tests. So there will be tests looking at quantitative reasoning. There will be tests looking at qualitative reasoning. There will be tests just looking at the intellectual capacities of the various sectors that various people have selected. So the top people from these tests, according to every state, will be selected, and then they will be matched with their host organizations. When you get to the host organization, they will also do their own due diligence. And if the host organization requests for a replacement, they get a replacement from the same database based on the people who have done the tests and how they've been scored and graded. So it will be a competitive process. It will be getting the best of the best out first, and then I'm looking further into the availabilities and the slots that are remaining based on the states that you've selected that you want to work in. Also, what we've done is we've given each applicant an opportunity to choose their top 3 states where they would like to work. So that way, if you selected maybe River State and maybe Osun State, and then you don't get in River State, and based on your score, maybe you're able to get in Osun State based on your score, and then you're able to be matched with organizations based on that. So it will be a competitive process. It will be the best that will get in first, and then the looking into the others. But also, I think one key thing to also note is that this is a data-driven program. So what you will have is there will be a trove of knowledge, a trove of information that we hope to learn from. We'll be engaging with the NDE. There's a lot of public sector engagement that is currently ongoing, and I'm sure the NDE is one of those that we'll be engaging with. Looking also at how we can deepen the knowledge and the learnings as the program goes on.
All right. Back to the phones now. David from Onitsha, is he still there? Hello, David. David, are you there?
Hello. Hello.
Hello, David. Go right ahead.
I'm coming from Onitsha. I have applied for government for the loan for over 2 to 3 years now. Hello.
Yes, go ahead. Which loan are we talking about here?
I have applied to the loan for 2 to 3 years now, but I don't see any for almost 3 years now, but I don't see any report from the loan for small scale industry.
Okay, well.
For small scale industry now.
Yes, but David, there's you have to be
small
specific.
Scale industry.
You have to be specific.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you, but you have to be specific. What loan? There are many loans, small
but there's
scale
no any report. There's no any information that's given
right
to
now?
me up till now.
Okay. Well, okay, all right. at least you've made a point. I suppose what generally would talk about is the difficulty in accessing loans. Since you have not specified what loan you applied for, and usually these are some of the issues with many of the programs that are in place. The question of accessing loans, not being able to get those loans quite easily. It's a tough situation.
Yes, yes. You see, this brings the whole issue of the synergy that everybody is talking about. And for instance, if you look at the National Social Investment Program, the word national is the key. It's not a federal social investment program, so it's national. The states are very, very active. In fact, the states implement this. If David were to be talking about a program under the NSIP, he would have had opportunities to talk to the National Orientation Agency or the NDE or SMEDAN or the Bureau of Statistics or the state, the basic education, or an appointee of the state government who is looking up. So that a sort of cross-reference and synergy and closeness to the people enables you to make very, very clear complaint. But yeah, as you see, the gentleman, Ife, will tell you that he's targeting 20,000. He may get maybe 2 or 3 million applicants. And the procedure of screening this could be what is happening to David. If you cannot specify yourself on the portal and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I'm able to do, then it becomes very difficult for you to have a chance to actually benefit. So you need to also be committed to ensure that if there will be one beneficiary, it will be you. That is the kind of energy that you need to radiate in these things before you can benefit successfully.
Well, let's go over to, okay, we have another caller from Enugu this time, yeah? Onyeka from Enugu. Onyeka, go ahead. Onyeka, we're waiting to hear from you.
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead.
Onyeka from Enugu State. Okay, my company name is Achinachi Best Aluminium. Okay, I am training from NDE. Training from Enugu State. Yeah. So I am. Hello. So I'm speaking with the director now. Please, I want the director to help me because since I apply for machine for aluminium machine. Since then, since almost 1 year now, they never.
All right,
Then since then, we almost 1 year now.
Okay, Onyeka.
Show anything. Show anything. Director, please.
All right.
I'm the trainee. I train more than 100 people in NDE.
Okay. Okay. All right. If I think you've been able to get one or two things across. Unfortunately, you still allowed the volume of your TV set to come on, and that's why we were getting the hurlback and the echo, and at some point you were listening. But however, I'm sure the DG ND heard bits of what you said about being a trainer and being into aluminium. So DG NDE, perhaps you can make something out of that.
Yes, I think Onyeka is a trainer, not a trainee, as he said. So probably he could be training for the NDE for quite some time now. And it's true, we have a program called the TCU, a Trainer's Capacity Upbringing, or Upgrading, I mean. So probably he could have applied for some facility there. But I'm just assuring him that he should be patient, that we will get to it. We will investigate it and we will get to it. But we also employ him to revisit our state coordinator in the state where he resides and bring the matter up. We will look at it in good faith.
So back to the studios here. Let's go over to Yowa Pera. You've listened to a number of the issues that have been raised here, and some of them may not have been directly related to this program, but also related to the question of the intervention programs that have been put in place for Nigerians to benefit, to take more people out of poverty, and to provide more jobs for the young, talented, or sometimes unskilled people who are out there. Now, what do we make of all this? What have we learning, and what is the experience we're gathering from, building all the data of all what these programs are meant to achieve, on how to chart the way forward?
The learning has been huge, and for a number of programs that are on board, there is a huge learning agenda. And if you see, even over the years, you will say the social investment programs came off of a good percentage to a large extent the learning from Shopee or Shopee from the other programs. Somehow government has been able to manage to sustain this learning and apply it to improving on other programs. Perhaps that is why you see now the shift of attention to digitization, to database, and to managing the whole gamut of information that comes through that system and through those lines. And so when you begin to tie them to some of the strategies that are in place, then you begin to make very clear inroad to understanding those issues. But again, you have to also come from the point of view of building confidence in the system, like we've been able to achieve, and also from our beneficiaries or would-be beneficiaries in code who apply for this opportunities. They need to be specific. They need to also have the patience and have the ability to be more articulate in terms of applying and not just be everywhere. You have a situation where an individual just see this as national cake, and even whether you're qualified or not, they throw it in. And then you have opportunity like this, you complain that you've applied for 2 years, it has not happened. Have you really met the criteria? Because about that, if we are actually on the information platforms, we know. So some of the questions here came directed at the NISA managed by CBN that is given the COVID-19 cash loans of up to 500,000 naira. Some of them, some of the questions here speaks to the programs under the Bank of Industries. Some of them speaks to the opportunities under Smeden. But it's all jumbled together. Now we're discussing a question that is specific here, but you see this information coming from everywhere. So we need to also be able to streamline our thoughts and not just see this as it's an opportunity, let me just throw it in. And I say this because what Ife is going to suffer from, of the 2 million applicants, when he takes his time to go through, he might only get 3,000 meaningful applications that speaks to the criteria that he's speaking to.
A number of these questions were raised, and of organizations that are not here. One thing NTA would certainly do in subsequent editions is bring those organizations here so people can have the opportunity to call in and talk about some of the issues they were trying to raise tonight, which probably were not directly related to the Jubilee program. But NTA would do that and bring in those organizations, and so they will have the opportunity to call in and ask those questions, especially about these delayed loans. But we have one more call to take tonight. I believe that the caller is still there. Anthony, who's calling in from River State. Anthony, if you're there, go ahead.
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Yes, go right ahead.
I'm Anthony Onoja from River State. I participated in the federal government Empower program from 2015 to 2020 when we existed. They promised us exit package. Almost a year now. We've been waiting and nothing was done about it. Some of us that gave ourselves to the program, teaching in school, without doing any other program, now we are being mocked that we are the angels that were working then. So please, I want to use this opportunity to plead with the federal government that they should help some of us because we gave ourselves to the program and we're not doing any other thing during the period, thinking that the federal government will be faithful to the promise of giving us an exit package. So I plead, are you there? Help us. Talk to the federal government. Talk to our president that we are passing through difficult times because of waiting. We don't have enough time that time to go and learn any trade. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you, Anthony.
It's a very interesting comment because Anthony from River State, you are on Empower, I guess either batch A or B. I think the batch A, they got their exit package. Literally, the package is for graduates. It's a device full of information on what to do, entrepreneurship, training, skills, opportunities, markets, and so on and so forth. The batch B did not get. Certainly, based on the budgetary constraints, batch B did not get for graduates. But the non-graduates, they actually got all their starter packs. You know, the plumbers got the kits, the carpenters got their kits, and so on and so forth. So, and also I'm begging Anthony to look at being attached to Empower. It's not giving yourself to the government and refusing training for others. It's an opportunity for you. As an unemployed graduate, either you are on NTeach, you are teaching in a primary school and getting that stipend of 30,000 naira per month, and you are expected to, you have some kind of backup, you know, to maintain your livelihood, but you are expected to use your skills, to experiment, to explore, so that by the time you end your 1 year or so attachment, you should be somewhere, either employable or to be employed. So this is the energy that is required of young people. Look at opportunities given through all these packages as opportunities. You are not doing a favor to the federal government per se. I say this with due respect, but you heard if he is going to get probably 1 million applicants. He has only 20,000 vacancies. That means opportunities for 20, before you get there, you have to be really, really strong. NDE can report to you exactly the same, and all the other institutions that are involved. So to me, take it as an opportunity, work very hard, and I'm sure you will see some kind of a value at the end of the day.
All right, so as we prepare to wind down, we'll return to Ife Adebayo now and say, apart from reinforcing the goal of the Jubilee Fellows program, from what we have gathered here tonight in this conversation, especially given some questions that have tended to look on the other side of how schemes such as this can be seamlessly carried out in the country, what is the way forward and what are we looking at as we open this portal for 20,000 to key into this program?
I think the way forward, like Dr. Binder has said, involves people who are coming on the program, first and foremost, to understand that this program is not a giveaway, it's an opportunity. Like Anthony from Rivers, for example, you had 2 years on a government program. It was very specific that you will be on this program for 2 years. And so you had 2 years to prepare yourself. You may not have gotten a device, but on your portal, all the learning materials, all the information that you needed to equip yourself was there for those 2 years. So people must stop seeing government programs as giveaways. Government programs actually exist so that you take advantage of it and you step out of it, and other people have an advantage. NPower is currently recruiting another set of 1 million people. And it's going to be the same with the Undp led Jubilee Fellows program. This program is going to be for 12 months. People who get on the program need to be serious about it. We're also employing organizations to be serious. We don't want people in your organizations going to buy granite or corn. We want them to actually get their hands dirty, learn on the program, and gain relevant experience on the program. So that after 12 months, you are going to exit. And there's not going to be any exit package. There are only 3 exit options. 1, you either have done very well, your organization chooses to keep you on. 2, you've gained the relevant work experience, you apply for other jobs and you get a job. Or 3, you use the experience that you've gained within the industry to start something for yourself. Nobody's going to give you an exit package. You have a period of 12 months, focus on what you need to do, gain all the experience you can gain, and make sure that you maximize the opportunity.
Thank you very much. We do hope that at some point in time we can ask you to come again and review just how the Jubilee program has played out. But let's quickly get closing comments from Yowa Apera.
Ife has rounded up quite nicely in the sense that we should begin to look at federal government programs as opportunities to build from there. But my charge will also be from state governments and federal and local governments to also step up to the plate to supplement or complement what the federal government is doing in their own initiatives in their own states to also provide that support, and collectively will be doing as much damage to our unemployment.
Just a couple of minutes left on this one, and DG NDE Malam Abubakar Nuhu Fikwu, your last word.
Well, thank you. I just want to say that skills acquisition is key in employment generation and wealth creation. People need to have a change of attitude. Yes, it's an opportunity. Government gives you an opportunity to be yourself. Government gives you an opportunity to be who you are and become boss of yourself and the boss of others. So young people, unemployed persons, should be able to take advantage of these opportunities and put it to use. Thank you.
Dr. Binder, it's just a few seconds. Yours would have to be.
I mean, I think I cannot stress more on the need to cooperate, coordinate, and work together. Not just the federal institutions, but also with the state government initiatives, with the private sector initiatives, development partner initiatives. We need to come together so that we can help our president, who said he needs to lift 100 million people out of poverty in the next 10 years. And I think it's doable.
All right, so thank you very much to you all, gentlemen. Thank you, Malam Abubakar Nuhu Fikwu, who joined us from our Ibadan Network Center. Mr. Yowa Pera here in Abuja with us, as well as Ife Adebayo and Dr. Binder. Thank you for being here. And thank you all for those who've called in to be part of this program. Thank you for being part of it. Next week, we'll be back with NTA Tuesday Live. I'm Cyril Stover. Continue to stay safe.
everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
Did you get to see the way Telebabadu pulls this? Don't forget to send in your messages.
There's a difference between picking, child, and issue. That is can do more with less people.
If we have a better way of addressing these issues, taking care of...
Congratulations, you were able to sign Timo Werner from RB Leipzig.
So you take water before your workout.
People have used their phone, using TikTok to do this.
Should I go for test?
A lot of people don't even have resources.
I'm Cecil, and this is the Medley Show on NTA.